Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 steps, step by step, to achieve extreme success with blogging. You guys have seen me make all kinds of money. I've shown my Stripe accounts from how much blogs earn from sales. You've seen AdSense. You've seen even my Google Search Console at times. You've seen all kinds of different pages. If I had 10 steps, these would be them. And I'm not going to be sharing some BS, easy to, information like buy a domain name. Nothing like that. This is going to be the generalized view of exactly what you need to do. All right. We're going to go into the first step. The first step is by far the most important, which is understanding the true nature of blogging. And this is kind of hard to admit, but it's nothing more than the truth. Blogging is long, it's boring, and it's a gradual build. It's not glamorous by any means. People only get attracted to it when they see the income numbers. People only get attracted to the idea when they picture themselves, blogging for a few years, making a ton of money, and then they see themselves on a beach somewhere doing no work, and then having the money come in. And that could happen, but that goes down the road. I'm not going to be sitting here telling you guys you can't be successful, because I achieved massive success with blogging, and that's something that I do day to day. This is not like one of those side hustles for me. This is the thing that has been making money for me ever since I sold my first business. So ever since I sold my very first business, which, by the way, I did use SEO to help sell my very first products. After I sold that business, I kind of had like a period of doing no work. And then I slowly got into blogging, because I figured, what's different from a blog selling e-commerce? There's no difference. It's just acquiring more traffic. And that's what I did. So I've been doing that ever since. This is like 7 years ago. A little more than 7 years, really 8 years. But blogging is the main thing for me. Of course, I have a ton of side things that I enjoy doing, but blogging, creating websites, putting blogs on them, selling those websites or keeping them, depending on how much money they make, that's the main thing for me. So understand, firstly, you have to get into the mental headspace that this is not something you're going to work on it for a week and you're going to make money. It does not work that way, especially for a brand new site. I don't know what the other creators are out here telling you, but I'm telling you this is pure facts, okay? Let's keep going. Step 2, picking a niche, then starting with a sub-niche. Let me explain. In the world of blogging, with the way I do things, and by the way, I have a free blogging course. I don't know if some of you guys took advantage of that. Some of you didn't. It is what it is. I'll leave a link in the description down below. But I'm not going to say you have to, because really you don't have to. But what you have to do is you have to understand how large your manpower is. Some people are starting a blog by themselves. Some people have a team. Some people have a friend and themselves. Some people are creating a blog as a couple, as a family, whatever it might be. When you're creating that website, you have to understand how much power can we put into this business, because it effectively is a business. How much can we put into this every week or every day or every, hour, or, are we putting in an hour a day or putting in an hour a week? You have to ask yourself that. And based on that, the size of your niche should kind of matter, okay? It doesn't make sense for somebody who's going to put no more than 3 to 5 hours a day, right, to go after such a large niche that they're competing with the dinosaurs of the industry. It doesn't make sense. So for most people, if you're alone in this game, which you can look at the name of this YouTube channel, it's called Cash Cow Niche Sites, is understanding that you can be extremely successful when you create a smaller site that is niche. And when I say a smaller site, I'm not talking just on traffic. What I'm really talking about is the amount of output you have to do. A lot of people get confused. If I'm competing with bodybuilding.com, my output has to be tremendous, astronomical, right? Unfathomable, even. But if I'm competing with little websites, I can easily blow them out of the water with topical authority. So when it comes down to picking a niche, I'll give you an example. The fitness niche. There are a million things in fitness that you can talk about. You could talk about a certain exercise. You could talk about a certain style of exercising. You can sub-niche it to a second degree, a third degree, a fourth degree. For example, we had a powerlifting blog, but the powerlifting blog was not on powerlifting. It was about powerlifting for seniors. So we took it 3 degrees. The first degree was fitness. Then we niched down to powerlifting. Then we niched down even more to seniors. We're talking about people who are 65 years old and over. So you can be very successful when you niche down, because there's a certain group of people who are looking for what you have to offer, but there's no authority on very specific things. So those people, unfortunately, have to go to generalized content. And when you offer very, very niche information, your website now becomes more valuable. Advertisers start to understand where it is. You start to get more offers, more deals. People start choosing to advertise on your site more. And yes, they can choose to do that. It makes your site infinitely more valuable. You can sell more products, etc. And something that I want to say is the more you talk about a certain topic, right? Google understands that. And Google is so advanced to the point where they have these ranking factors. Some of you may know about it, some of you don't. I think I put out a guide. Yep, niche site ranking factors right here. You want to learn about ranking factors? Check out the mini course. I'll leave that link in the description as well. But ranking factors, right, are things that control how high you rank. And the algorithm is a very complex formula that is composed of all these ranking factors. Some of the ranking factors we know, some of them we don't. And when I say we, I'm talking about the general public. Google doesn't come out and say these things, but they say it in a shrouded kind of way. So for example, if Google says, you have an error on your site for large contentful paint, really what they're saying is the beginning of your website has a huge image that takes a long time to load. You need to fix that. So one of the ranking factors is having minified images that load fast, things like that, right? So there are hundreds of ranking factors. In fact, there was a company I think called Moz back in 2018. I know. I think they're the ones who came out with this list. Back in maybe 2016, 2018, I don't remember. It's been, like I said, a long time. 2016 is what, 7 years ago? They came out, or 8 years ago, something like that. They came out with a list of 230-something ranking factors. There's much more now. As time goes on, things, matter more and less. And so the algorithm is getting more and more complex. But when you keep creating in a certain niche, Google starts to understand. And they give you what's referred to as topical authority. So there could be a website that might be bigger than you, and it just so happens that 1 or 2 of the article topics overlap with yours. But you can outrank that site, get more traffic for the content in your specific niche because you have topical authority. Now, topical authority is just one out of hundreds of ranking factors, just like I said here. So topical authority is not the only thing that matters. But if you just stick by these steps alone, you'll do pretty well. Step 3, blog topic search. So what I recommend personally is you have to keep in mind you're going for, and I think, step 4 is set with it. So you're going to be creating your blogs. But the first step to go from here is once you go down to the sub-niche, it's time to come up with your topics. Now, if you fail at this step, it's okay. You can go back to step 2 and change the niche, right? But mind you, once again, you have to do this stuff before you actually buy the domain and set up the website, obviously. I'm pretty sure that's obvious. But what you're going to do is you're going to come up with at least a minimum of 30 to 45 topics that are extremely niche. Extremely, extremely niche. And I wouldn't get too caught up in the search volume. Search volume is great, right? It's great when you rank for things that have search volume, but don't get caught up too much in it. Don't focus on that right now. You need to focus on 30 to 45 topics, right, that will help you as a list so that you don't have to think of what do I have to write, okay? You're going to write them down, piece of pen and paper. Now, when you do them, you have to have them exact term matches, and we talk about this later in the steps, but they have to be exact term matches. So, for example, if you're writing a blog about cars and you happen to write about, let's say, the Nissan, Nissan Civic, the Honda Civic Type R, and you're teaching people how to install a cold air intake, and the keyword is how to install a cold air intake on a Honda Civic Type R 2023 model, then you need to exact term match in your title. Do not switch it. Do not change a word. Don't do anything. Just leave it the way it is. Now, that's a little SEO trick, but we're probably going to come out with an SEO course in the future very soon. I'll come out with one soon. We have some mini lessons here, but for the future, I'll probably come out with an SEO course just so we're all on the same page. But exact term match, get 30 to 45 titles, okay? In order for you to walk away from the blog. When I say walk away, after those blog posts are written, there are some niches where you can indeed only write 30 to 45 articles and you will then rank on Google. But there's some niches that aren't. Once again, this is why I say if you fail, it's okay. Go back to step 2, reroute, pick the new niche, focus on it, and attack it. And just in case anybody's wondering, no, you do not share the same niche, different niches on the same site. Absolutely not. Okay? Anyways, so minimum 30 to 45, okay? And then you're going to start writing the content for them. Now, after you finish doing that, it's really ideal, before you walk away from a site entirely, in my opinion, you should have 60 to 90 blogs. But if the site's doing good, you can have less. I wouldn't go anything lower than 30. In my head, it just doesn't make sense to do anything less than 30. But 60 to 90 is optimal, okay? Whether it's, the actual articles we're talking about. But obviously, you have to come up with the titles first. 60 to 90 is optimal. 90 is amazing. But obviously, some niches are harder to find topics for. Obviously, it makes sense. You don't go into a niche where you can only think of 10 topics. Now, generally, every single niche you could produce more than 10 topics for. But that's just an example. So after you get your topics, you list them out word for word. You're going to write them. You're going to write all of them. Now, you don't have to necessarily write them. Somebody else can write them for you. But they have to obviously adhere to normal SEO basis. I can't list them out now, but I'll put out an SEO course. You get the point. Lots of stuff with SEO. Literally, there's no way I could go over it right now. Step 5, As soon as the blog posts are actually written, okay, you have to make sure you have to go through each and every site on how you're going to monetize that site. And there has to be at least 3 different ways that site can make money. And now, if you notice in the very beginning of this video, I wrote 10 steps to extreme success. I didn't say moderate success. I didn't say success. I didn't say traffic. I said extreme success. One of the things that contribute to extreme success is extreme income. I'm pretty sure most people are watching this because they want to make money. And so you have to write down, or not even write down, but you have to make sure every blog post, okay, not site, but every blog post has at least 3 ways it's making money. So for some people, AdSense is one, okay? For some people, it's selling a product in that space on that site. For some people, it's affiliate marketing. For some people, you got ad space, selling ad space. For some people, you can accept guest posting, okay? Every single site and every single blog post have to have at least 3 different mechanisms as to how you're going to make money on that post. So for example, if I have a post, I'll put some affiliate links in there, I'll post my own products in there, and I'll have AdSense working. That's an example of 3 different ways. For somebody else, they might post a little ad space post in the post itself, like a banner, an ad space banner inside the post. That's 1. They might have AdSense running. That's 2. And they might sell a product. That's 3. Or they might do affiliate marketing. That's, whatever. Another example is link sharing. Another example is link inserting. Another example is consulting. There's so many things you could do to monetize a site. These are just some examples. I don't see why there's any reason why you cannot use all of them, But once again, we'll make videos in the future about that. Step 6, okay? Go over all the posts that you've written, or, virtual assistant written for you, whoever. Go over all the posts that are written and make sure keywords are optimized for search exact matches. Notice here, I didn't say you have to be an SEO expert. I didn't say you have to do some crazy SEO hacking and all kinds of craziness. You don't have to do any of that. You have to make sure there are exact title matches. What do I mean by that? So once again, I just used that example with the Honda Type R. If somebody's asking a question, how do I change a key on my MacBook Air 2019? You're going to match the exact keyword match. Now, why do I say this? Most people are not going to be able to do a perfect job with SEO, and that's fine. You don't need to. But if most people follow the past steps, right? Step 5, 4, etc., and then they follow this one, they're probably going to get some rank within Google. They might not be a champ, but they're going to get something, and they're going to get some rank, and that will make them money. And I have seen so many times, even in my own personal websites, where the website was really not optimized. It really wasn't a good website, but it was generating traffic. In fact, one of the sites that I own, and I still own, I was going to say that I owned past, but it's really present tense. I still own it. One of the websites that I own that I featured on this channel that I built from scratch, and we had something like close to 60 articles on there. Within a few months, I think it was like the 7th month that I owned it, had generated over 6,500 visits on this YouTube channel. And there were so many missing parts to it. There were so many things that I could have fixed. But it was generating about 6,500 hits. Obviously it changes month to month. 1 month it's 6,800, 1 month 7,200, next month it's 4,900. It changes. But the point is that website wasn't perfect. But we made sure the fundamentals are taken care of. And if you don't do anything else in SEO, make sure you do this. Exact search title matches word for word. And if you don't know what that is, how to find the titles, how to find whatever, once I come out with the SEO course, make sure you sign up. But step 6, that's exactly what you do. Okay? When you stick also to a certain niche, guys, remember that a lot of the times when you have to do a lot of SEO work, it goes, I don't want to say out the window, but it's not as hard to rank higher, even if your website is not that great, simply because it's lower competition and because there's less, fish in the water. Okay? Step 7, let's keep going. Make sure each post is individually submitted / indexed in console. I can't tell you how many times I'll be going over a great post that maybe was around for a little too long, but for some reason hasn't jumped the way it should. Next thing you know, I check it, and Google might be aware of it, but it's not indexed. Or excuse me, it might be, it's not indexed, right? It's not submitted to the console. So you always should, just good practice. You don't have to, but it's good practice to submit your site page for indexation on the console. It just helps. I find that it helps. There's really no chance where I could say it does not help. Google obviously is going to be aware of your site and is going to be completely aware of all the pages. Even Neil Patel talked about this. He said when you submit your article into the Search Console, even he's submitting articles. and he's got a website that makes something like 100 million hits a month. I mean, he's such a monster in the SEO game. Even he still submits stuff. Just because Google might be aware doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It's just good for practice. Step 8, okay? This is where now you work on the optimization of the website design. You make sure at this point you're obviously collecting emails. You have an email automation service going. And you're pushing products during those emails. Okay? Once again, this is for extreme success, financially speaking. You got to push products. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with it. Your readers are reading your content because they want to buy your products. Okay? And do you want to make money, or do you want to keep dreaming? You want to make money, right? You want to be serious, right? You want to change your life, right? So you absolutely can, but part of that is selling, and that's pushing products, creating the sales campaigns, selling products that people would genuinely be interested in through email marketing. Showing people the value of those products. So for example, if I have a blog, right, on alopecia, and I'm recommending a certain kind of over-the-counter medication to help it, right? And if I know it actually helps that condition, wouldn't it be wise for me to promote it? Because it's actually helping people solve their problem legitimately? The answer is absolutely. But if I'm scared to promote and I'm worried about what people think of me and all this nonsense, I'm never going to get anywhere. So if you have a solution to people's problems or even their questions, you need to promote it. You need to push it. Whether it be somebody else's product or whether it be your product, it doesn't matter. You have to give them the solution. Okay? And more importantly, you have to make them aware that your solution is the most optimal solution for them. Okay? So that's step 8. Step 9, okay? Repeat the past 8 steps for multiple websites. And once again, this is for extreme success, all right? I don't care if you're making $15,000 off one website, you need to have more than one. Keep in mind, creating a website from scratch to the very end point where you're not creating any more blogs, that should take no more than 2 to 3 months, in my opinion. Some people say you need to be working on it for a year. You got Project 24 by Income School. I'm not about that. I used to be about that. I'm not about that. Because I realized it doesn't have to take longer than it should. Google's not against promoting new websites. I've seen it happen to me. I was going to say thousands, but let me be conservative. I've seen it happen to me multiple hundreds of times where the website is newer, but we beat article sites that have 90 plus page domain authority. And we did that because of our topical authority, because of our exact term matches, some SEO, and more importantly, just banging on that niche. And Google knows we are the dominator in that niche. Okay? And more importantly, good user signal. We have less bounce rate than the competitors. We know what the readers actually want, what they're looking for. The big articles are not going to be able to do that. The big sites. The big sites providing the articles are not going to be able to do it the way we do it, right? So what you really need to do and you really need to understand is that you're not going to be able to have more than just one website. I don't care if you're making $1 million a day on one website. You need to have more than one. And the reality is you're probably not going to make $1 million a day. I'm being exaggerative on purpose just to emphasize the point. But the reason why I stress this is because I can't tell you guys how many times I was worried about my one business going downhill. Every single blog post is a business. You have to treat it that way. Not every blog website. I'm talking about every post. If you look at every blog post like it's a business and there's money to be made from each post, you're going to take things more seriously. I have a YouTube channel with about 40K subscribers where I teach people how to do print on demand. This is an example. Print on demand for me is a side thing. I don't take it as seriously as I take this. This is my main. I'm focused on this 24/7, 365. My mind doesn't come off of this because my livelihood depends on this. And what I mean by this, I'm talking about blogging. My livelihood depends on it. And for the people who watch my channel or my other channel who happen to be watching from my other channel, they know I talk about blogging every now and then. I talk about how important it is to me and how important it is to my personal business. And if it wasn't for the blogging, I wouldn't be able to even make these videos because those are the things that pay my bills. So, you need to have more than one website. You cannot rely on just one site. I don't care if you're doing everything right. You need to have more than one website. So the way it works in a perfect world is you do all 8 steps in optimally 2 months, but if you can't, 3 months, no more than that. You get those 90 maximum, let's just say 60 to 90 blogs up. Worst case scenario, 30 to 45, right? You get those blogs up, you do all the work, you do the review, you submit them to Console, you're making money every day from these sites, and then you just go do more. You go create more sites. And then finally, step 10, you hire VAs to outsource the work. Now, some people's minds, they're busy on step 1 or 2, and then they forget about all these steps, and they skip to the last step, and they say, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't do this. I don't think I could do it. Well, you can't do it now because you're not earning enough to support this. But when you start to create new sites, and your income is diversified, you're making over $10,000 a month. Maybe you're making 20, 30, 15, whatever the number is. You can hire a virtual assistant, $2,000 a month, $2,500, $3,000 a month, and they're responsible for either 1 to 4 websites, depending on the size of those sites. They're responsible for managing, maintaining, and growing those sites, right? And they should be trained already in the SEO space. You should give them an exam before they come to you, right? Now, if you're not in that position, you shouldn't be worrying about this. You should have to worry about everything else that comes with this. In a period of a year, you can have 4 different websites, 4 to 5 really, but you can have 4 different websites that are extremely successful for you, and they could absolutely replace your job. The reality is most people are not committed, so it's not going to happen for most people because most people give up. I'm hoping that doesn't happen for people on this channel, but the statistics don't lie. The statistics spit out the facts. Out of 100% of the people that decide to start a journey like this, 91% will drop off in the first month. 91%. The following 9%, right? 5% of the following 9% will be successful. 5%. So if we put 100 people in a room that says, I want to do blogging, 91 people are going to leave the first month. Out of the 9 people, right? 5% of them, which is virtually nobody, is going to then be successful. Think about that. So really, we would have to measure success. How much people would we need in the room for one person to be successful? Right? How much? 10,000? I don't know. But the point is people are not successful not because of the algorithm, not because of their bad luck in life. It's because they just give up too early. Remember in the very beginning, step 1, what did I say? The 10 steps to success. Step 1 is the most important step. Understanding the true nature of blogging. That it's long, it's boring, and it's gradual building. It's definitely not glamorous. It's definitely not fancy, okay? But Google rewards it. I can do any search on Google right here, right now, and the search results, 80% of the time are going to be blogs. 80%. Think about that. Google rewards content. Specifically written content, the very most. It's not hard to do. It's not like you're sitting in front of a camera and you're being an actor or something, right? You don't need expensive equipment. You got people in India and Pakistan writing blogs who, frankly, have money troubles. So there's no reason somebody in a Western country should have a problem, right? And shout out to those people. But my point is that You have every opportunity. There's nothing holding you back. It's just a matter of doing it and sticking to it. Now, whether you want to stick to it or not is up to you, but the point is that it's extremely possible. And words of motivation, I can't really think of motivation. I would say look at your bank account. That's the biggest motivation you could possibly have. If you're not happy with the way it is, you can absolutely change your life drastically within a year. Somebody messaged me the other day on one of my past videos. I think it was either the last video or the video before, and somebody says, "How much can I make in a year?" And I said, "I can't predict that for you. It's too hard to predict because most people quit. Most people don't make a single penny because they quit. So I can't really predict that for you, and I definitely can't predict it based on my standards for you. I've been doing this for 8 years now, 7 years now. I have many, many websites. I'm shooting for a total of 100 websites in ownership this year. Each website is literally making money every single day. That's not an exaggeration. I'm grinding every day. Part of the reason why I can't upload here every day is because I'm just busy, Guys, if you follow all these steps in order, right, you can be extremely successful. Notice I didn't say anything about SEO hacks, buying backlinks. What else do they have? What kind of black hat technique is out there? I don't know. Any kind of thing you want to mention. I didn't mention any of those things. Blogging has never really changed. From now to 8 years ago, blogging has not really changed. Of course, the technology might look different, The technology might be faster, might be more attractive, but the content has not really changed. Google is looking for good content. And how do they measure good content? By how the viewers react to it. Google measures the success of every single website. More importantly, the behavior of every user's activity on each website, right? And that's how they determine what's good and what's bad. Topical authority is very real. Very real. The more articles that are beneficial, truly, the more money you're going to make, the more attention you're going to grab. But you have to earn it, So hopefully this video is beneficial. I know for a fact most people are not going to benefit because they're going to quit early. That's just the reality of it. I don't say that to be mean, but that's just the truth. That's just the truth. That's the reality of the blogging business. It's not for everybody. But, anybody can be successful, but not everybody will, and that's just the reality. If you want more success, follow these 10 steps. Bookmark this video. You don't have to be fancy with your work. Bookmark this video every time you feel down. Maybe you feel confused. Maybe you're not sure where to start. Click on this video and just watch it again. Maybe it's a 10, 20-minute investment, 30-minute investment. It might help, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.